Welcome back, grade 11s. I hope you are well rested. Let us now look at the topic called team dynamics and conflict management. Now, you will also note to say that this is divided into two, which is very important for you to remember that you must know the importance of teamwork in a business and you must know the stages of team development. So in other words, what do teams go through when they are working together? Then the second part will focus on conflict, where you must know the causes of conflict, how we manage conflict, and the difference between a workplace forum and a trade union. Now, the new words that you are going to come across in this lesson will be team, which is a group of people organized to work together to achieve a common goal. We also have the word grievance, which is a formal complaint which is laid by an employee when he or she feels that he or she has been ill-treated by an employer. For example, discrimination and unfair workload. We then have team dynamics, which are the behavioral and emotional forces that influence a team's performance and direction. We then have conflict, which is a disagreement or a clash of opinions in the workplace. We then have conflict management, which are the plans that are taken to prevent conflict. You then have teamwork, which is the interaction with team members to achieve a common goal. Now, very important is that the common error that you might have is that you will struggle to identify the team development stages from given scenarios. Now, the most important thing to remember here, grade 11s, is that when we talk about the stages of team development, we are simply looking at what is it that teams go through when teams are formed. So you must remember that they go through different stages. And for you to do that, you must read and find out what is each stage about, which will then make it easier for you to identify them in the scenario. Now, the importance of working in a team in a workplace is that teams will have a common goal that unites them. So when we are working together, we are aiming to achieve certain objectives. And for that, we are united to make sure that those objectives are met. It is very also important to note that effective teamwork provides a basis for consistency and performing at a high level. So when we are working together, we are coming up with different perspectives and different ideas, which will then enable us to make sure that whatever we are doing is of good standard. Now, the stages of team development include forming, storming, norming, performing, and mourning. Now, also to remember is that you do not have to write this as it appears here. You can either write norming or you can write settling or reconciliation, as they both or all three speak to the same thing. Also, with mourning and adjourning, you can write either or. You do not have to write the two. Now, just to remind you, grade 11s, this is something that you already know. Forming is the initial stage, whereas storming is where conflict arises. Norming is when we are starting to then settle. Performing is when we are now doing the task without interference from the leader. And mourning refers to the end of the task. So we then have to adjourn and start working alone. Now let's move to conflict. What is conflict? It is a struggle or a disagreement between two or more people. Now, it is very important for you to note that when conflict arises, there is going to be a negative impact in the business. Now, what causes conflict? There is a difference in backgrounds. Now, remember that employees are coming from different places and they do things differently. As a result, they are going to have a clash because they are doing things differently. Now, also, unfair workload can be a cause of conflict because one is given a task which is not too demanding, whereas others are given a lot of work to do in a short period of time. Poor leadership also causes conflict because it means that the managers do not know what they are doing and they do not know how to enable their employees to work in a conducive environment. Now let's take a look at the differences between a trade union and a workplace forum. Remember that when we talk about a trade union, we are speaking about an organization. Now think about different organizations that exist that are there to speak for employees or fight for the rights of employees. These are the unions. But when we refer to a workplace forum, it is simply a group of employees in the workplace that are coming together to solve related problems that they have in the workplace, which is why it says here that a trade union is an association that is there to fight or protect the rights of workers, whereas a forum simply speaks about a group of employees who meet on a regular basis. Now, a trade union has the legal right to sue, whereas a workplace forum cannot. Now remember that a trade union is an organization, so they can sue on behalf of their employees. But when we are a group of employees in the workplace, we do not have a legal right to sue. Now, also very important to note, as this can come as your scenario type question, is that a trade union can organize a strike, whereas a workplace forum cannot organize a strike. Now I am going to give you a few more minutes to take a break, and I will see you after that.